When most people think about Steve Jobs, they picture the black turtleneck, the iconic Apple product launches, or his reputation as a demanding visionary who reshaped technology. But behind the innovation and drama was a man with a very particular way of thinking about wealth. Unlike many billionaires who measure success only in money, Steve Jobs had a different lens. His philosophy on wealth was not about piling up numbers in a bank account. It was about vision, creation, and impact. So in this video, I will take you through how Steve Jobs thought about wealth, what lessons his mindset reveals, and how you can apply them in your own journey toward success. By the end, you may see that wealth is not only about money. It is about how you live, what you create, and the value you leave behind. The first thing to understand is that Steve Jobs never set out to be rich. That might sound strange for a man who built one of the most valuable companies on the planet, but if you study his life closely, you will see that wealth was never his direct target. He often said that his goal was to build great products, not to chase money. In fact, he once mentioned that being the richest man in the cemetery did not matter to him. What mattered was going to bed at night knowing he had created something wonderful. This philosophy reveals the first lesson: focus on impact, not just income. Jobs believed that if you create value at an extraordinary level, wealth becomes a byproduct. When Apple launched the iPhone, it was not built as a quick money grab. It was built from the vision of reimagining communication, music, photography, and the internet all in one device. The wealth that followed was a result of solving problems at a massive scale. Another interesting aspect of Jobs' mindset was simplicity. He believed that true wealth was clarity, not clutter. In his personal life, he lived with a minimalist philosophy. For a long time, his home in Palo Alto had almost no furniture. He said he only wanted things that were meaningful. This lesson extends to money as well. Wealth is not about how many possessions you accumulate, but how much value the few things you choose bring to your life. Jobs also had a unique relationship with risk. He was not afraid to bet everything on a vision. When Apple was struggling in its early days, and later when he was ousted from the company, he did not see setbacks as the end. He saw them as chapters. When he founded Nexty and acquired Pixar, he poured his time and resources into them, even though success was not guaranteed. That willingness to risk comfort for vision is a powerful wealth principle. Real wealth often requires boldness. If you play it safe forever, you may never create anything transformative. But it is important to understand that Steve Jobs did not see wealth as numbers alone. He valued time as the most precious currency. After his cancer diagnosis, this perspective became even clearer. He said that remembering he would die soon was the most important tool he had to make decisions. In his eyes, money could not buy more time. This is a critical lesson. Wealth is not just financial freedom. It is freedom of time, energy, and focus. In his Stanford commencement speech, Jobs famously said, "Your time is limited, so do not waste it living someone else's life." That message carries deep financial wisdom. Too many people chase careers or money paths they do not believe in because of external expectations. Jobs argued that true wealth is found when you align your work with your passion, because then your time and money both carry meaning. Another principle Jobs lived by was the power of saying no. He once said that innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. The same can be applied to wealth. Chasing every opportunity, every trend, and every investment rarely works. Wealth is created by focusing on the few things that matter most. For Jobs, that meant focusing on building a handful of products with extraordinary quality. For you, it might mean picking one or two clear financial strategies instead of scattering your energy everywhere. Steve Jobs also believed in surrounding himself with excellence. He often said that A players hire A players, while B players hire C players. When it came to building wealth, he knew that success was not a solo effort. By surrounding himself with brilliant engineers, designers, and leaders, he amplified his impact. The lesson here is clear: the people you surround yourself with directly influence the level of wealth and success you can reach. During his career, Jobs faced criticism for being difficult, demanding, and at times even harsh. But behind that intensity was a deep belief that wealth is built from refusing to accept mediocrity. He pushed for perfection not because of ego alone, but because he believed consumers deserved the best. In that sense, wealth is created not by cutting corners but by raising standards. Now let us look at another side of Jobs' philosophy: his belief in intuition. He often credited his success to following his gut, even when logic said otherwise. From dropping out of college to learning calligraphy, to betting on Pixar, many of his decisions did not make financial sense at the time. Yet those intuitive leaps later created massive wealth. The lesson here is that wealth sometimes requires trust in yourself beyond spreadsheets and forecasts. Numbers matter, but vision and intuition matter too. Interestingly, Jobs rarely spoke about traditional investing. Unlike Warren Buffett or Ray Dalio, he did not focus on the stock market or portfolio theories. His wealth came almost entirely from building companies and products. That does not mean everyone should ignore investing, but it does show that one path to wealth is relentless creation. Instead of asking where to invest your money, Jobs asked, "What can I build that will create value?" That is a mindset shift anyone can apply, even at a small scale. His relationship with money itself was complicated. Jobs did not flaunt his billions. He lived relatively modestly compared to other tech moguls. He did not own yachts or private jets in the way some of his peers did. His true obsession was with building. This teaches us another lesson: wealth without purpose is empty. If money is only about accumulation, it becomes meaningless. If money is a tool for creation, freedom, and impact, it becomes powerful. In the later part of his life, Jobs reflected more openly on mortality and what wealth really means. He admitted that while money can buy comfort, it cannot heal or extend life. His illness reminded him and the world that health and relationships are the real wealth. This is perhaps the most profound lesson from his journey. All the billions in the world could not buy him more time with his family. For us, it is a reminder that while we pursue financial goals, we must also invest in health, love, and peace of mind. Now, what can you learn from Jobs' philosophy and apply to your own life? The first step is to shift your focus from chasing money to creating value. Whether you are building a business, starting a career, or developing a skill, the question to ask is, how can I create something so valuable that wealth becomes a natural outcome? Second, simplify. Wealth is not about having more, but about having meaningful things. Eliminate financial clutter. Reduce unnecessary expenses. Focus on investments and possessions that truly add value. Third, take bold risks when your vision is clear. Playing safe might protect you in the short term, but boldness creates breakthroughs. Jobs was willing to fail, and sometimes he did. But the risks that worked out paid off massively. Fourth, protect your time. Time is the ultimate currency. Be intentional about where you spend it and align it with things that matter. Fifth, surround yourself with excellence. Wealth is rarely built alone. Find people who challenge and elevate you. Their influence will multiply your results. Finally, remember that real wealth is bigger than money. It is health, family, creativity, and impact. Steve Jobs left behind not just a fortune, but a legacy of products that changed how billions of people live. That is wealth on the highest level. Looking back at Steve Jobs' life, his philosophy shows us that wealth is not simply dollars in a bank. It is the ability to create, to choose, and to leave something behind. You may never build the next Apple, but you can apply his principles in your own journey. Focus on value, simplify your life, take bold risks, protect your time, surround yourself with excellence, and remember the bigger picture. Wealth, in the end, is not about being the richest in the cemetery. It is about looking back and knowing you created something meaningful with the time you had.